Okay, I recently watched this video here on the Stamina for Sale YouTube channel with Tunde and Spencer Fearon. And as you can see, they were speaking to Don Charles in the wake of Derek Chisora beating Kubrat Pulev in their rematch. Now, I also saw a bit of Tunde's live stream when he was watching the Chisora Pulev rematch. And at several points throughout the live stream, he spoke about his desire to see Derek Chisora retire. Win or lose, he wanted to see him call it a day. Now, bear in mind, Tunde Ajayi knows Derek Chisora. So he's not coming from any place of malice or anything like that. He genuinely cares about Chisora's welfare, and he feels as though Chisora has taken enough punishment in his life, or in his career, should I say. He's got a family and what have you to look after, and he wants Derek to bow out now that he's made money and still seems to have his faculties intact. And when Tunde was saying all this, I was nodding my head in agreement. I think it would be a good idea for Derek Chisora to retire now. For me, the signs are all there that he is, I don't want to say a shot fighter, because he did just beat Pulev, although Pulev is near the end of his career too. But a fighter who's showing a lot of wear and tear, for sure. His foot speed is not the same as it used to be. Not like he was ever Sugar Ray Leonard, but he had faster feet than this, even just a couple years back. Even his hand speed was faster than it currently is now. So he looked like an aging fighter to me against Pulev without any doubt in my mind. So when I saw Tunde and Spencer Fearon talking to Don Charles, I'm not sure if it was the next day, may have been the next day, I was hoping that Tunde would keep that same energy and express his desire for Derek Chisora to call it a day and retire. Now, I haven't watched the whole video, and perhaps at some point Tunde mentions the fact that he wanted Derek to retire. But in the parts that I've seen of this video, and I've watched quite a bit of it, as you can see, over an hour, Tunde is basically convinced by Don Charles. And it doesn't take Don Charles to do much convincing, right? He just basically comes on there and says, I'm your elder, and he's not disrespectful or anything, but these guys all know each other. They go back a long, long way together. But he comes on there and says that, no, Derek will be carrying on. And in fact, he likes the Wilder fight. So think about this. We've got Tunde concerned for Derek Chisora's health, just fighting on in general, never mind against Wilder. And he expressed his concern when Derek called for the Wilder fight in the post-fight interview, right, after beating Pulev. But he didn't have that same energy when Don Charles started talking about the Deontay Wilder fight. Don Charles likes the Wilder fight. He said that he's always liked the Wilder fight for Derek Chisora. Stylistically, he thinks it's a good matchup for them. He says that Wilder only has a right hand, and surely Derek has learned enough, and with the training of Don Charles, who has got Derek moving his head very well, he thinks they can nullify that right hand and then take it to Deontay Wilder. And as I've said on numerous occasions, 3, 4, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I'd have given Derek Chisora a good chance against Wilder. I'm not saying I would have picked him, but a 40% chance maybe, at least. Yeah, I think that's reasonable when I weigh up the pros and cons of both fighters and I think about the style matchup. I reckon Chisora would have a decent chance against Wilder a few years ago. But the Chisora of today is not the same Chisora of a few years ago. This isn't even the same Chisora who fought Alexander Usyk, in my opinion. Now, to counter that, you could say that Chisora would be a lot more motivated against Deontay Wilder, and therefore we'd see a faster Chisora, would see a more aggressive Chisora, would see a Chisora in better shape, with better stamina, etc., if he fought Deontay Wilder, because Wilder brings that fear factor. And Don Charles says that Derek is one of those fighters who needs to have some fear in him in order to bring out the best in himself. That may be true. It all remains to be seen. But Don Charles, in this video, said that Derek's mum, who's obviously Derek's very close to, and he listens to his mum apparently, Derek's mum pleaded with Don Charles to come and train Derek again. And she apparently said that if Don didn't agree to train Derek again, she would basically make him retire. Now, Don also said in the interview that when he first assessed Derek, when they got back together again, he said that he was going to put Derek Chisora's health at the absolute top. So if he thinks that Derek isn't, if he thinks that he's compromised in any way in terms of his health, then he's not going to go ahead with training him and not going to go putting him in more fights. They're going to take it on a fight-by-fight basis. I think he said that the plan was 3 fights, or plan is 3 fights, but if after the first fight he's not looking good and there's wear and tear, then they'll call it a day there and then. This is what Don Charles said. So he's saying that Chisora's health is the top priority, basically, above all other things. Well, if that's the case, if Chisora's health is the top priority, then why are you trying to put him in with Deontay Wilder? There's nothing that Don Charles said in this video that made sense of that. Derek has made plenty of money in his career. He can retire. I mean, Don Charles said himself, Derek's got a big house with a garden that's more like a park. That's how big the garden is. Got stables in there and what have you. So, I mean, the question is, how much money is enough money, right? But you would think that Derek has made enough money that he's going to be comfortable, him and his family are going to be comfortable for the rest of their lives. So again, why pursue the Wilder fight? What's the reason? If Derek Chisora's health is the top priority, why pursue the Wilder fight? Even if you fancied it back in the days, is it really that important? That it's more important than Derek's health? Because that is what's on the line here. Derek is already an aging fighter who's showing signs of wear and tear, and now you're talking about putting him in there against probably the biggest puncher in the division, a man who is an absolute vicious individual in the ring. I mean, this is a guy who has openly stated he's trying to catch bodies in the ring. And he hasn't come too far off a few times with some of the devastating knockouts that he's scored. Derek, of course, has been knocked out badly before, most notably against Dillian Whyte, but he was also stopped by David Haye. So again, putting him in with Wilder, what's the motive behind that, Mr. Don Charles? He said that Derek has fought just about all the top heavyweights out there from, well, of a certain generation anyway. He fought Tyson Fury, of course, twice. He fought Dillian Whyte. He fought Klitschko. He fought David Haye. He fought Robert Helenius. Who else has he fought? Oh, I mean, he's fought a whole heap of people. And Don Charles was making out as though, well, if he fights Wilder, then that's the one guy out of the early part of this era that Derek didn't fight. He obviously hasn't fought. Oh, he also fought Usyk, of course. He hasn't fought Anthony Joshua, but they seem to be friends, so I can understand that not happening. So yeah, that's what Don Charles's explanation was for wanting to pursue the Wilder fight. They've always fancied it, and it's the fight that hasn't yet happened between Derek and one of the top heavyweights of this era. But again, is that more important than Derek's health, Don Charles? You guys let me know what you think in the comments below about this desire of Don Charles to want Derek Chisora to fight Wilder. And what do you think about Tunde being so easily swayed by what Don Charles said? Personally, I find it concerning. That's what I'll say about the situation. And there was one funny bit in this video where Don Charles referred to David Haye as an agent of the devil. An agent of, I mean, that's deep. to call someone an agent of the devil. And he may have his reasons, but Don Charles has always come across to me as a very emotional man. And, I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all. Got nothing against Don Charles on a personal level or anything like that. But sometimes emotion can interfere with your judgment. And coming out and saying that about David Haye, maybe Don Charles is justified in saying that. I don't know. I don't know what has gone on behind the scenes. But he has a tendency to be a bit overdramatic. And I suspect this might be one of those occasions with regards to saying David Haye is an agent of the devil. And he was very serious when he was saying this, that David Haye is an agent of the devil. So, yeah, that's my take on it. Why, again, it's just a question. Why, Mr. Don Charles, if Derek Chisora's health is the top priority, are you so supportive of this Deontay Wilder fight? Surely that's probably one of the most dangerous fights in the division for Derek Chisora's health, and a fight which financially he doesn't actually need. So why do it? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you're tired of the biased narratives and mass censorship on mainstream platforms, and you want to be part of a community of critical thinkers who love free speech just as much as you do, then come and join me on Patreon and access my weekly no-holds-barred, censorship-free podcast where we lift the lid on a wide variety of controversial topics. It's not mainstream friendly, it's not politically correct, but that's the whole point. We dare to stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. Just head on over to my Patreon page and select the tier called Hatman Hot Topics. You'll gain access to a minimum of 2 hours of exclusive content every single week, including podcasts, videos, interviews, live stream Q&As, as well as my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. Not to mention a vast back catalog of hundreds of hours of previous episodes. You can listen via the Patreon app with the option to download in high quality MP3. We've also got an Element group where you can come and chat and hang out with myself and other members. Unlike Discord, it has full end-to-end encryption, is decentralized, and is 100% censorship free. You can also send voice notes as well as much larger audio and video files than you can on Discord. So come and sign up on Patreon. There's no contract, there's no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a cup of coffee. So I'll see you over there. I'm out.